Just listen to the Gladys Street chorus. Transferred down to East Anglia, where Everton are back on top of English football. The final whistle goes.
At 20 minutes to 5 on the afternoon of May the 4th, 1987, a little corner of Scouse-occupied East Anglia was the setting for a championship party. For the second time in 3 years, Everton had proven beyond any doubt that they were the country's top football club. This is the story of how they did it.
Heath breaking forward now with a chance. He scored. Adrian Heath has scored for Everton. An opportunist goal marks the return of Adrian Heath to the Everton first team. And they won't miss Gary Lineker if he shows that sort of opportunism in the coming months.
Power forward. He's clean through on goal, drives it low. It's gone in. Would you believe it? Paul Power on his return to Main Road.
Wayne Clark has a chance. He'd chipped the goalkeeper. Oh, it's gone in. Wayne Clark has scored for Everton. We had to wait an age. Lukic's clearance was a disaster. Now into the path of Alan Harper coming forward. Tries his luck from long range. It's there. A great goal by Alan Harper from all of 30 yards has put Everton back in front. Might have a go himself. Left-footed Taylor. Oh, save. He doesn't score very often, but they're worth waiting for when they're that good. A beauty with the left foot from Peter Reid. Headed away as far as Stephen, driven across the face of goal. Sharp batted out. It's there. 45 seconds. Everton are on the title trail.
That championship party was a year overdue. The previous season had promised every bit as much for Everton, if not more.
9 minutes left to play. Everton leading by a goal to nil. Another now would surely sew it up. Van den Houw takes the throw. Headed away by McGrath. Sheedy out to Van den Houw again. In towards the edge of the penalty area. Bailey fumbled in. Heath, he scored! Adrian Heath, within 5 minutes of his return to centre stage, scores the goal which will tie up the Charity Shield for Everton. Stevens on the right-hand side, crossed into Lineker with a flying header. Oh, a brilliant goal by Gary Lineker. 3-1 to Everton, and that was international finishing by Gary Lineker, and Bobby Robson is here to see it. Hooked on into the penalty area towards Lineker, trying to turn past Hogg, got in his cross. Graham Sharp couldn't quite reach it. Sheedy back in there again. Sharp, 3-1. Graham Sharp carries on where Everton left off at the end of the first half. Fires in the Blues' third goal of the afternoon with 2.5 minutes of the second period gone. And Everton are defending their title with real relish this afternoon against the Morning League leaders.
Lineker turns the ball across, headed across by Sharp. Stephen, Reid, right-footed shot. Peter Reid has scored. Now it hit the crossbar. It's given. Peter Reid has scored for Everton. 5 months out of the first team. His shot rattles the underside of the bar, beats Ray Clements, and Peter Reid has scored the goal, which surely sends Everton back to the top of the first division.
Here's Trevor Stephen, releasing Graham Sharp inside the penalty area, turning away from Mabbott and from Thomas. Play back to Stephen again. Now he's got on the outside of Mabbott into a crossing position. It's a good one to the far post. A header, it's there. Gary Lineker makes it 2-0 for Everton, and that surely is the FA Cup quarter-finals for the Blues. Another Everton throw, 10 yards from the corner flag. Richardson in towards Gary Lineker inside the box. Overhead kick. Heath with a chance. He scored. Adrian Heath, the substitute, has equalised for Everton. Marvellous opportunist goal. Just as he did at Tottenham on Tuesday night, the substitute has come up with the goods. There are a couple of supporters on the field wanting to join in the celebrations. But Adrian Heath, with 13 minutes left to play, has done the trick, and Everton have come from 2 down to equalise. Derek Mountfield heads forward. Harper's got him behind the defence. Hodges come a long way. Harper hooks it goalwards. It's scored. Alan Harper, the substitute, has put Everton in front. 4 minutes of the second half gone. Martin Hodge came an awful long way there, but Alan Harper beat him to the ball. Lobbed it past the stranded goalkeeper. And Alan Harper, the substitute, has launched a pitch invasion at Villa Park. Headed back in there by Bracewell. It falls for Kevin Richardson just outside the box on the left-hand side. Played back to Bracewell again, 10 yards outside the box. High one in towards Graham Sharp. It's there! Graham Sharp has scored for Everton. A marvellous opportunist goal. Getting on the end of Bracewell's cross beating Sterling to the ball, peels away joyfully to celebrate with the Everton fans who spill out onto Villa Park to join in the celebrations, because Graham Sharp, with 7 minutes of the first period of extra time gone, has given Everton another glimpse of Wembley. Harper now into the path of Ratcliffe getting forward. Left-footed shot from Kevin Ratcliffe. Oh, Grobbers let it go in, and Everton have scored, and Kevin Ratcliffe has got the goal, and an absolute disaster for Bruce Grobbelaar. It's a goal they'll talk about for years. What dramas we've got to report now. Harper down the centre of the field. Lineker's onside. He's clean through on Bruce Grobbelaar. He's beaten him, and that is 2-0. And Gary Lineker has surely won the derby for Everton. The steadiest and most reliable goal scorer in English football this season just picked his spot inside the right-hand post. Number 30 of the season for Gary Lineker. His most prolific goal-scoring season ever. But I doubt whether he'll ever score one more important. Because with 12 minutes left to play, Everton lead by 2-0. Ratcliffe and Lineker, their goal scorers. And is this the day that they stretch their lead on towards retaining their championship? I wonder if we'll look back on this one in May and say that was when they did it.
Victory in the Anfield derby had left the destiny of the title very much in Everton's own hands. It stayed there until the last week of the season.
Lineker's got away from Shotton. He tried to clear it past the goalkeeper, but Alan Judge made an heroic save, and Everton have to make do with a corner kick. And easily their clearest chance of the night. Kevin Sheedy chasing down to the dead ball line on the left-hand side. He's got away from Steve Perryman, edge of the penalty area in lower. Header, it's just wide. It was a great chance for Gary Lineker. Stevens with a long throw. It broke off Heaven. Heath with a header, and Alan Judge made a save. And Adrian Heath so close to making another dramatic contribution in the Everton double cause there. It's John Truitt, right-footed, into the penalty area. Hamilton's there, controls the ball, peels away. Right-footed shot from Phillips is there. And Les Phillips may well have ended Everton's title bid. Less than 2 minutes to go.
It could so easily have been a different story at Wembley too.
18 minutes gone. No goals. Howard Kennel chewing away furiously on the Everton bench, looking very tense, which really is the mood of the game at the moment. Hansen with a header down to Whelan, midway inside his own half. Forward towards Kenny Dalglish, just tried to angle the header on towards Johnson. Vandenhauer was there, though, headed it down to Kevin Sheedy. Early forward towards Gary Lineker. Grobbelaar has come to the edge of the penalty area, just have to thump it away with his right foot. Only as far as Trevor Stephen has Reid to his left. Gary Stevens overlapping down the right-hand side. Here's Stevens, just outside the box. Left-footed cross in towards Lineker. Sharp had a chance. Was he pulled back? He felt he was, but the referee says no. And Alan Robinson, who made very few friends at Goodison Park when he disallowed a penalty appeal in the opening stages of the Milk Cup final here 2 years ago, has turned down another very strong Everton claim. Graham Sharp felt that he was held back by Steve Nicol then, as Gary Stevens' cross was swung in from the right-hand side, but Alan Robinson looked away. Reid early forward. Lineker, he's got beyond Hansen this time. Edge of the penalty area, left-footed shot, great save by Grobbelaar. Lineker again, it's there! Gary Lineker scratched first blood for Everton. Grobbelaar denied him at the first attempt, but Lineker's pace and opportunism, again perfectly illustrated with his 40th goal of his first season at Goodison Park. And Gary Lineker, the double footballer of the year, puts Everton ahead in the FA Cup final with 28 minutes gone.
But 86 was to be Ian Rush's year, a fact that Everton actually used to their advantage to fire their determination in the months that followed. The parties simply had to be put back a year.
Here's Heath breaking forward now with a chance. He scored! Adrian Heath has scored for Everton. An opportunist goal marks the return of Adrian Heath to the Everton first team. And they won't miss Gary Lineker if he shows that sort of opportunism in the coming months. It came out of nothing, but Adrian Heath, sharp as you like, as Graham Sharp tried to force the ball on, Heath with a stooping header just ran it into the penalty area, and Mike Hooper had no chance. And with 9 minutes left to play, Everton have taken the lead and are set to become the first side ever to win 3 consecutive Charity Shields. They're in front with an Adrian Heath goal scored in the 80th minute, and they've 5 more minutes to hold out, or maybe even improve on it, because Kevin Langley is onside and clean through on Mike Hooper, and he's knocked it wide. What a shame for the young man. Great opportunity for young Kevin Langley to cap a marvellous Everton debut.
The new campaign started where the old one had ended, at Wembley. And that fellow Rush again.
High one in towards Kenny Dalglish. Just trying to glance it on with a head towards Morby, who won it in the air. Johnson with a back flick on by Rush. Dalglish has got a chance here. Square for Rush. Liverpool have equalised. And guess who scored? Ian Rush.
Yeah, obviously after the Charity Shield, everybody realised that Liverpool were going to be the team to beat. Even though we got a fair result, we should have won on the day, really. We had a couple of good chances. That everybody realised that if you're going to win the league, Liverpool are the team you're going to have to beat.
How important was it for you to score in that opening game at Wembley, bearing in mind there was such a weight on your shoulders following the departure of Gary Lineker?
Yeah, I think that the main thing was that no matter what happened this season, fortunately, at the end of the season now I can look back and say, well, it wasn't too bad because we won the league, but before the season started, there was nothing so certain that if we hadn't have won it, that was going to be the reason everybody thought we didn't win the league. You know, I've got a few articles I cut out before the beginning of the season where so-called experts were saying that the reason Everton won't win the league is because they can't replace the 40 goals.
Adrian Heath was one of only 5 members of the cup final lineup who were there for the start of the new league season. Paul Bracewell would not play a senior game all term. Pat Van Howe and Peter Reid will be missing until the end of January. Gary Stevens till December. Neville Southall till late October. Derek Mountfield and Neil Poynton were injured too. Kevin Richardson had followed Gary Lineker through the exit door. But new names appeared on the score sheet to keep the title pot boiling.
Adams takes it in towards the near post. Headed on inadvertently by Pickering. Comes for Ian Marshall with a shot, he scored! We have a super sub. Ian Marshall has equalised for Everton within 5 minutes of coming on. Here's Sheedy, chipped in beautifully. Wilkinson arriving far post. Oh, that's a great goal. Paul Wilkinson makes it 4 for Everton. Beautifully provided by Kevin Sheedy. What a left foot that is. Just clipped it in on the run. And Wilkinson at full stretch volleyed it beyond Martin Hodge. So Everton will take this free kick at the second attempt. Sheedy bends it in. Oh, it broke off. Nexon Watson with a chance, he scored. Dave Watson's first ever goal for Everton. Gives them breathing space with 15 minutes of the first half remaining.
In towards Sheedy inside the centre circle. Now what can Sheedy make of this? Sprays it wide towards Graham Sharp, just on the edge of the penalty area. Power forward. Is Cleethrough on goal? Drives it low. It's gone in. Would you believe it? Paul Power, on his return to Main Road, has scored for Everton and could well have scored the winner.
I feel lucky to get the chance in the first place because it's been at other people's expense, really. You know, initially Pat Van Howe at full-back and then Kevin Sheedy in the middle of the park. So I feel that I've been lucky at other people's expense. But I think, you know, if you get a chance, then it's up to the individual to take it with both hands, really, and I feel that I've done that, and I've got a lot of satisfaction about the way the season's gone, obviously.
I remember the manager saying to me that obviously you would provide cover down the left-hand side, but that you'd be a good influence on the young players when you play in the reserve team. Have you played in the reserve team?
No, I've not, actually.
We had a fabulous start to the season. I think we were the last team unbeaten in the first division, considering the side we had out, because, like Sir Neil Adams, he was playing Parks football until, like, a year and a half ago. So for the likes of him, and to be playing in the first division and keeping us within 6 points of whoever was leading at that stage was a remarkable achievement at the time. We started off with 5 or 6 of our best players. They weren't exactly, you know, first-team members, they were our best players. So, you know, that's what gives everybody, I think, a little bit more satisfaction.
It was Spurs and who else but Clive Allen who ended Everton's 7-match unbeaten start. A week later, Arsenal won at Goodison with a controversial goal direct from a corner. And when Charlton's Jim Melrose scored an unlikely hat-trick against the Blues in October, they lost 3 in a row. Everton were now 6 points off the pace. With a trip to Southampton to come, Kevin Sheedy joining a lengthening injury list and record signing Dave Watson on it too before half-time.
Aspinall's got away from Armstrong, crossed into the far side, Wilkinson with a header, 2-0 to Everton, and that'll win the game.
That was perhaps a little minor turning point at that part of the season, actually. Plus the fact we also knew at the time that the big lads were coming back and getting better, so that was an even bigger incentive, I think, for the people who were in the positions to sort of maybe try that little bit harder, whatever, because you knew that sooner or later the big fellas were coming back.
Everton lost only twice in their next 18 games. Neville Southall returned with a match-winning save from Mark Falco the following week against Watford. Neil Poynton and Gary Stevens were back within a month, and the goals started to flow. 10 in as many games from Adrian himself.
Power. It's got away from Chamberlain with some help from Sheedy into the dead ball line, left-hand side, crossed in towards Trevor Stephen, away as far as Heath with the volley. That's a cracker. Oh, what a marvellous goal by Adrian Heath. Must have been 22, 23 yards out when he leapt back and carefully volleyed it beyond Martin Hodge into the top left-hand corner.
There could have been even more from Adrian, despite the presence of the live television cameras. A season's best 48,000 saw Inchy come close to toppling Liverpool in a wind-blown Goodison derby on November the 23rd.
Liverpool feeling rather wronged at the moment. Alan Hansen didn't think that was a free kick. The ground still simmering over that disallowed goal. Ian Rush, the victim of the referee's eagle eye. Harper takes the free kick for Everton. High in towards Derek Mountfield. It's found its way through to Graham Sharp. Edge of the penalty area. Clipped in again. Away by Mark Lawrence and volleyed by Stephen. Blocked by Ronnie Whelan. Stephen again. Harper, midway inside the Liverpool half of the field. He's turned away from Ian Rush, slipped into the edge of the penalty area. Fouled by Lawrence, and was it? No, says the referee. Everton are furious. Adrian Heath went down, and all of Everton believe they should have had a penalty there. 13 minutes of the second half gone. No goals. Sheedy with the corner kick. In towards the near post. Sharp there with a flick on. Oh, hit the crossbar, I think, from Derek Mountfield, and turned away by Ronnie Whelan. And Liverpool's biggest escape of the game so far.
Yeah, it was my head at the bar, actually, not Derek, because
I got that wrong, did I?
Yeah, contrary to what everybody in the television and media think.
That.
Yeah. But that was the important game for us as well. You know, it was a live game on the television. It wasn't a great game, but it was very important to us at the stage, because although Arsenal were on the top, we always thought they were the team to beat. As it proved at the end of the season, it was a two-horse race really towards from the last couple of months onwards.
Liverpool actually headed the First Division for a week in early November, but it was Arsenal who were now setting the pace at the top. Going into the Christmas period, they were 5 points clear. But second place Everton were moving into a higher gear. Some of their holiday football was breathtaking. At Newcastle on Boxing Day, 35,000 Geordies gave them a standing ovation.
It's Adrian Heath on his own over the halfway line. Power and Harper are starting to get now forward in support. Here's Alan Harper just outside the box, played back in. Power arriving at the far post now. Is he impeded? It doesn't matter, he scored. Paul Power has put Everton in front. 23 minutes gone. A most glorious break. Adrian Heath was on his own initially, but Harper and Power really did bust the proverbial gut to get up alongside him. Heath played it to Harper, who delivered the final pass, inch perfect for Power, who, despite an attempt to foul him, slid it in at the far post, and Everton lead by 1-0. Sheedy helping the ball inside the fullback, a lovely ball into the path of Power, driven in low. Heath pushed it back, Stephen with a left-footed chance, he scored. Everton lead by 2-0, and Trevor Stephen, maybe their outstanding player on the day, has given them that 2-goal cushion with 10 minutes of the second half gone. A coolly taken goal. Sheedy releasing Power, the scorer of the first goal down the left-hand side. He's squeezing his cross, Heath forced it on, and Stephen in all sorts of space, guided in his 8th goal of the season. And the Everton title challenge is gathering momentum here in the northeast. They lead by 2-0. Kevin Sheedy has a lot more tenacity about his game this last year or so, and that's a great ball forward. Here's Adrian Heath turning just outside the penalty area, slipped into Paul Power here with a chance, square to Trevor Stephen, shot on target, is it there? Yes it is. 3-0, Trevor Stephen gets his second, and Everton are in complete control and are heading up the First Division table. Harper into the path of Stephen on the right-hand side, avoids a high challenge from Wharton and just collects the ball in his stride and accelerates down the right-hand side. Great run by Stephen, good cross, Heath waiting with a header, 4-0. It is absolutely simple, but it is beautiful to watch. Adrian Heath makes it 4 for Everton, and Trevor Stephen, who scored twice, makes it with an exhilarating run down the right-hand side, a glorious cross. To be fair to Inchy, it has to be a good cross if he's going to head a goal.
Yeah, I think Christmas probably was the best period of football we ever played all season. We had a few good results, 3 and 4 now, and so that was probably the best purple patch we had all season, and we sort of built on that really from then on. Even though we never reached the heights again, we were more solid from that moment onwards actually. Then we went down to QPR, which we hadn't done well on the plastic pitch since we've been in the First Division with them, and since they've had the pitch, and we got a result. We didn't play too well. I remember Sharp scored a good goal on the day, and we got a result.
On towards Graham Sharp. They've got 5 forward in the break there. They can keep the passes going. Sharp going alone. He's going all the way through. He's only the keeper to beat. He's beat him. What a goal by Graham Sharp. And what an important one for Everton. It's coming the 22nd minute of the second half. A virtuoso individual goal by Graham Sharp. Everton's first on the Queen's Park Rangers Omniturf.
But within 2 months, the treble bid had been dismantled, firstly by you-know-who in the Littlewoods Cup derby at Goodison Park, and then in a dogfight over Wimbledon in the FA Cup. Howard Kendall emerged from the tiny Plough Lane dressing room that afternoon and said, "Our year starts now. A third of the season to go. It was the title or bust." On February the 7th, Everton beat Coventry City at Goodison Park and took over the First Division lead.
Towards Dave Watson, he won it in the air. Trevor Stephen, great control, right-footed shot, well blocked by Kilcline. Watson couldn't quite make it. Here's Harper though, curled back. Adrian Heath with a header. Oh, it's a great header too. Everton lead by 3-1. Superb finishing by Adrian Heath as Alan Harper hooked the ball back from the edge of the penalty area. And Everton are heading for the top.
The timing of their move coincided almost exactly with the moment that they'd hit the front in the previous season. Ian Snowden had been signed from under Liverpool's nose. Pat Van den Hauwe and Peter Reid were fit at last. They looked equipped to stay at the top this time. But could they? Reid, for instance, their inspiration in the final straight, took time to recover his form.
Oh, I was useless. I couldn't do nothing. My sharpness wasn't there, no power, no strength, and it worried me for a bit.
The team actually had a sticky patch. You went 5 games without a win. One of those, a cup defeat at Wimbledon.
Looking back, I mean, it's easy to look back on things. Looking back, I think we got bombed by them, and we got caught up in the way they play football. You learn off things like that, and you never stop learning this game. I'm 30 years of age, and I learned that day. And most probably the manager did as well.
I think he pulled a masterstroke the next day, didn't he? He got you all together for a very famous Chinese meal and got one or two of the frustrations out of the system. I think that was a bit of a turning point in the season, wasn't it?
But that was terrific. I mean, we had a meeting of Chinese in Liverpool. There was let's say a couple of bottles of white wine on the table, and we sorted it out from there, the tactics with the white wine.
It must have been vintage wine. After 5 games without a win, Everton chalked up 7 wins in a row, moving 6 points clear of Liverpool by April the 21st, having trailed them by 9 points going into the match with Charlton on March the 21st.
Drives it forward towards Stephen. On towards Clark, who's onside. Gary Stevens arriving, he's scored. Would you believe it? Gary Stevens with his first goal of the season could well have kept Everton in the title hunt.
I remember saying after the game, we didn't play well. I remember saying to my dad in the players' lounge, he said, Gary Stevens got a tackle in that went in the back of the net. I say, Dad, things like that win championships. We're not playing well, but we're winning. I think after them 2 games where we played awful, we won 2 of them, everything come together.
2 trips to London came together. They turned the title Everton's way. At Highbury, Arsenal fielded a full-strength side for the first time in months. The Blues, still without Sheedy and Sharp, got their return from an other timely Howard Kendall bye.
Van den Hauwe forward. Heath will chase it. Lukic has had to come outside of his penalty area. His clearance is a poor one. Wayne Clark has a chance. He chipped the goalkeeper. Oh, it's gone in. Wayne Clark has scored for Everton. We had to wait an age. Lukic's clearance was a disaster, and Wayne Clark, 35 yards out, chipped it over the goalkeeper. The ball was in the air, it seemed, for a minute, but it just clipped the inside of the goalkeeper's left-hand post, nestled in the net.
The second biggest cheat of the day was about 5 minutes to go. Our crowd went berserk. I remember Wayne Clark saying to Adrian Heath, "What's happened?" And then she turned around and says, "Are you joking? You'll learn soon." I think Wimbledon obviously beat Liverpool at Anfield, and our crowd let us know about it.
The gap at the top had been reduced to 3 points as a result. A week later, against a Chelsea team unbeaten at Stamford Bridge in 1987, that gap disappeared altogether.
Sheedy's got some space inside the box. Here he is, turning away from Hazard. Play back to Reid again, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Now into the path of Alan Harper coming forward. Tries his luck from long range, it's there! A great goal by Alan Harper from all of 30 yards has put Everton back in front. It was a blinder. It was a speculative attempt in some ways. There was nothing else on for him. He just tried his luck with his right foot, and his luck was in.
Zico Harper got one of them 30-yarders that dipped over the keeper, and it was a fabulous victory for us. And it was another great team performance. The lads did ever so well, and we knew that we were playing well. I mean, we'd scrapped Charlton and Southampton, but we played well against Arsenal, and we played well against Chelsea, and a little bit of confidence got in our play then, and I just had the little feeling the lads got the centre winning something in the nostrils, and from then on we went from strength to strength.
I think a Liverpool defeat at Wembley was the thing you feared most, but in actual fact it seemed to knock them back a little bit more than might have been expected.
Yeah, I thought I'm always. I mean, I remember beating them in a derby last year, and I thought it was the end, and never write them off. And I thought they had bounced back, and it surprised me a wee bit that they didn't come straight back at us, they fell away a little bit.
Everton never again sacrificed the lead. They returned to Goodison on April the 11th to serve up 45 minutes of the most relentlessly exhilarating football that the famous stadium had ever seen. This time Reid himself playing a starring, if somewhat unfamiliar, role.
Square to Peter Reid. Harper was taken late. Reid, though, knocks it in. On by Watson. Clark with a chance, right footed. It's there, off the post. Wayne Clark's first goal at Goodison Park. The inevitable Everton breakthrough has arrived. 19 minutes of incessant pressure, eventually rewarded, and Wayne Clark has got the goal. Reid's won it back, edge of the penalty area, might have a go himself, left-footed Keller, what a save! He doesn't score very often, but they're worth waiting for when they're that good. A beauty with the left foot from Peter Reid. I think he thinks he's Kevin Sheedy, really, you know. He just killed it with the left foot after winning the ball just outside the penalty area. Beyond the helpless Tom McAllister, Everton lead by 2-0. They couldn't have a more popular goal scorer, Peter Reid. Stephen inside the penalty area still. Played off. Gary Stevens driven in. Oh, another superb strike. 3-0 to Everton. Gary Stevens, magnificently well taken goal. West Ham United will ask questions of themselves. Liam Brady didn't defend at all well, but Stevens took the chance superbly, and Everton are in the most rampant mood this afternoon, and they're going to take some shifting. They really are. Corner into the near post, flicked on well. Watson's in there, he scored. 4 for Everton. Dave Watson.
A week later, an immense Evertonian following travelled to Villa Park to witness another spectacular goal.
Heath, first time shot by Sheedy. Oh, what a brilliant goal. Kevin Sheedy scores the opener for Everton. A beautiful volley from just on the edge of the Villa penalty area. A left-footed special.
Newcastle were next in the firing line on Easter Monday.
Kev as far as Paul Parr. Crossed in. Clark surely, yes. Off the post, but it counts. And Wayne Clark has given Everton the lead. 4 minutes of the second half gone. Great cross from the left-hand side by Paul Parr. And Clark, sniffing as his brother used to do inside the 6-yard box, gives Everton their long-awaited breakthrough. Harper on the break. Adrian Heath, it's got beyond Peter Jackson, inside the penalty area. Heath, he's turned inside the centre-half, poked it square. Wayne Clark, surely, yes, 2-0. And Everton will stay on course for the championship. Wayne Clark gets his second of the afternoon. Brilliantly set up by Adrian Heath. They're on the feet at Goodison Park. They feel they're very, very close to the title now. Power again, edge of the penalty area. Toss to the far post. Clark there with a header. Yes, he's got his hat-trick. Wayne Clark has a hat-trick to celebrate. And Goodison Park has started a party. They believe they're there. And Wayne Clark, Howard Kendall's newest acquisition, has got the broadest smile in the place. And I tell you, there are 43,000 smiles in the place right now.
Wayne Clark's first ever hat-trick gave the Blues 6 points of breathing space. Peter Davenport's late winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford was greeted as a title clincher as Goodison Park rocked to chorus after chorus of Hand It Over. The Anfield derby was 5 days away.
Everton free kick then, 5 yards outside the Liverpool box. Reid, Stephen and Sheedy standing over it. Sheedy kills it, oh I say! Typical of Sheedy, 1-1. Fantastic goal. And we have had 2 memorable strikes in the opening 16 minutes of the derby, and we're back where we started at 1-1. You can only say it was a typical Sheedy free kick, but there are very few other players in football who can strike and bend a ball with that sort of power and accuracy. Marvellous goal.
Ian Rush restored Liverpool's advantage just before half-time and was to have the final word that day, but not before waves of second-half pressure had almost clinched the title for Everton on Anfield soil.
But Marn turning, edge of the penalty area, looking for Ian Rush. Good play by Kevin Ratcliffe. Charged the shot down and emerged with the ball. Snowed in, onto Ratcliffe again. Adrian Heath, he's found Ratcliffe once more. He's clean through on Mike Hooper, but the goalkeeper did exceptionally well. Came outside of his penalty area to clear. Here's Heath, on towards Wayne Clark, inside the penalty area. He's got a real chance here, he's got support. Hooks it back, Heath with a header, hit the post and went behind for a goal kick. How close can you come to an equaliser? Southall short to Ratcliffe. Midway inside his own half of the field. High and long towards Trevor Stephen. Great ball over the head of Gary Ablett. Stevens got in behind him. He's inside the penalty area. Pulled back just a bit too far for Heath. Maybe for Sheedy. He's made shooting space for himself. Right-footed, headed away by Ronnie Whelan heroically. Only as far as Trevor Stephen, right-hand side. Edge of the penalty area. Has Gary Stevens in support. Here he is. Curled in with the right foot. Hooked high into the air. Johnson with a header down. Power inside the box. Cross back in. Stephen with a header down. And Hooper somehow kept it out. And Gary Ablett got it clear. It's all Everton at the moment. Here's Heath just outside the penalty area. Looking for Peter Reid in support. Good challenge by Spackman. Reid's got it back. Driven across the face of goal. Clark went in and Hooper did well at his feet. There was a chance there for Wayne Clark. Under pressure from Rush. Finds Stevens supporting. Just outside the penalty area. Heath wide of him. Right-hand side. Crossed in again with the right foot. Hooper has come for it. Didn't really get there. Slowed in back across the face of goal. Trevor Stephen couldn't control it. And Jan Morby smashes it into the crowd to safety. Mike Hooper living a bit dangerously then. Whelan 15 yards outside the penalty area. Ablett overlapping. Got it an early cross towards Ian Rush. Ratcliffe's missed it. Rush has got a great chance. Southall got a hat-trick, but he's not denied Ian Rush his record. 3-1 to Liverpool. And Ian Rush is right up there with Dixie Dean.
It was to be Liverpool's last throw of the dice, though. A week later, even Rush himself was saluting an Everton title.
They played very well, and I suppose at the end of the day, whichever team wins a championship, no one can say that no, they don't deserve to win it. So it's not just over one game where, like tough finals, the best team could have a bad day, but it's over 42 games, and Everton have done better than anyone else.
A goalless Saturday home draw with Manchester City was interrupted by news of another Liverpool slip-up at Coventry. Not even a mathematical miracle could deny the Blues if they were to win at Norwich on Bank Holiday Monday. The rest, as they say, is Vanden history.
Power will take it, left-footed. Swing it in from the right-hand touchline towards the near post, headed away as far as Stephen, driven across the face of goal, sharp, Vanden Hauwe, it's there! 45 seconds, Everton are on the title trail. Pat Vanden Hauwe has given them a dream start. Trevor Stephen drove it back in from the half-cleared corner, and Pat Vanden Hauwe's first goal for well over a year has given Everton the lead, and they're very, very close already. 1-0, Vanden Hauwe the scorer, and the 7,000 travelling Evertonians are celebrating a championship already. It was at Goodison Park against Fulham in 1963 that they clinched the title with a 4-1 win, a hat-trick from the great Roy Vernon. It was at Goodison Park against West Bromwich Albion in 1970 that they clinched it with goals from Colin Harvey and from Alan Whittle. It was at Goodison Park in 1985 that they clinched it against Queen's Park Rangers with a 2-0 win. But it looks set to be here at Carrow Road, 260 miles away from home, that Everton will cement their fourth modern-day title, their ninth in all. They are 2.5 minutes away. Norwich have a throw-in.
6 weeks ago, 9 points adrift. What were the thoughts then?
So we blow it.
Oh, no, now it comes out.
No, obviously with the 3 points you can turn around very, very quick, and we've had the 2 games in hand, so I thought we were still in there with a shout. We've all worked very hard this season considering the injuries we've had, and it's been a team effort, and we've all got the rewards.
Way gets the throw-in off Tony Spearing. A throw-in to Everton, 15 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side. In 9th place, going into the Goodison Derby back in November. They moved up to second by the start of the Christmas programme when they scored 15 goals in 4 glorious games, winning 6 in a row to force their way in front. But they're under pressure again as a header flashes in from Gordon wide of Neville Southall's post. All of it almost unnoticed now by the celebrating Evertonians. They came through that sticky patch in February when they lost the title lead and went out of the FA Cup at Wimbledon. But then 7 wins in a row took them back to the top. They've been there for a month now, having closed a 9-point gap on Liverpool in a little over a fortnight. And once in front, they haven't looked like being moved.
When you win the championship for the first time, I think the strength is to come back again. And obviously we didn't do anything last year, so to come back and win something again now, it's hard the second time around because everyone wants to beat you because you know you're a good side. So I'm just delighted.
Just over a minute left to play on my watch.
And Ian Snowden now, Ian, it's looking a good decision now, isn't it, the one you made in January?
Yeah, it was a really difficult decision, but now it's all over. I've got 1 championship medal and another 4 seasons to go. Hopefully I can pick up another 4.
And you got that letter, didn't you, from the Liverpudlian who said you'd made the wrong choice after the Littlewoods Cup tie. Are you going to reply to him now?
That's right, yeah, I think I might just put it down a little bit on paper and see what he has to say now.
In the box. Great swerving run by Stephen, tremendous balance before Spearing gets in the sliding challenge. Everton have a throw-in down by the corner flag. Underneath the vast body of their travelling support this afternoon, Gary Stevens will take a throw. We're deep inside the final minute.
And Dave Watson, it was a year ago yesterday that you hoisted aloft the Second Division Championship trophy on this very ground.
Is that right, is it? Yeah. Goes quick a year, doesn't it? Just normally drinking champagne this time of the year at Carrow Road, which was just avoided relegation or something.
Great challenge, and here's Adrian Heath with a chance to make it certain. Edge of the penalty area, turns inside Butterworth, right-footed shot, slice wide. The second's almost as valuable as the goal would have been, though, because it takes us into stoppage time.
With all the players that we've used, I mean, it's just delightful that they've been part of it. I mean, they're all here today, apart from Paul Bracewell, all the seniors, and, I wanted them here because, you sniff that you get a result today, and they're part of it, and they've all played the part.
At the moment, Watson covering, turns it out of play. And Norwich have a throw. It's 20 yards from the corner flag on the left-hand side. And just listen to the Gladys Street chorus. Transferred down to East Anglia, where Everton are back on top of English football. The final whistle goes. There's a pitch invasion inevitably. One or two youngsters have got out there in the middle to celebrate with their conquering heroes. Everton's 9th championship is won here in East Anglia with 2 games to spare. A tremendous moment for all Howard Kendall's 23 players who've been employed in a title bid which has been hindered by injury problems from beginning to end, but which finishes in glory here at Carrow Road. How well Howard Kendall has deployed his forces.
More determined
He's
this year
fought at the right moment.
anything else to go out and win the league. Because of last year, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was anyway, and I think the rest of the lads as well.
Kevin Ratcliffe, hoisted aloft by the Everton fans, punches the air in delight.
I think this drive is certainly gives me a lot more satisfaction actually than the first one, believe it or not, because of the efforts that everyone's put in this season.
Which has fired their title bid again this season, and you can hear what the travelling Evertonians think about it. Everton are back on top, and there's going to be quite a party in East Anglia tonight. And what a day it's going to be on Saturday at Goodison Park when Luton Town come, and when the Championship trophy comes back to Goodison. So Rob Johnson ruled to have handled the ball. And after all that shenanigans, Trevor Stephen has an opportunity to equalise from the penalty spot. Gladys Street end, right-footed, he scored. Trevor Stephen lights the fuse. Party time at Goodison Park. Luton Town's early goal cancelled out. North unable to clear his lines. Heath has won it from Johnson. Stephen, edge of the penalty area, wrestled to the ground, another penalty. Stacey North, the guilty party this time. Not too much argument in the Luton ranks on this occasion. Trevor Stephen, who scored from the spot no more than 2 minutes ago, will have an opportunity to repeat the job. Now, can he really send Everton towards the title presentation in the manner that they'd like to? Yes, pops it the other way this time. Again, he sent Les City the wrong way. And Trevor Stephen, as cool as you like, becomes Everton's leading scorer in the First Division this season. Harper with the short corner. Reid, back to Gary Stevens, edge of the penalty area, driven in right-footed. Graham Sharp got the final touch. That's why they're champions. Everton 3, Luton Town 1. And the champions are now opening up and playing championship football. Gary Stevens with a driven shot. Graham Sharp with the faintest of touches on, who has just managed to fox goalkeeper Les Seeley. Beaten 3 times in the opening quarter of an hour of this second half. And Everton now heading for the finishing tape in style. Time to crown the kings of English football. 22 teams set out in August with this goal in mind. Maybe never more than half a dozen for whom it was any more than a pipe dream. But at Goodison Park, it's expected of Everton. And once again, this young side of Howard Kendall's has come up to those high expectations. The average age of today's side just 25 and a half. Only Peter Reid over the age of 30. What a future lies in front of them. They've lost over 200 games to their crippling injury problems. They've closed the 9-point gap that there was between them and Liverpool 7 short weeks ago, despite all that. And they've won the title with 2 matches to spare. They've outscored the rest. They've beaten just about everybody. They've entertained us richly. Some of the football they were playing at Christmas time took the breath away. They've dug in when they've had to, and they proved themselves the best for the second time in 3 years. And Kevin Ratcliffe walks forward to receive the new Today trophy from the England manager Bobby Robson, a championship triumph that has won the club 2 trophies. And it's the chairman of the club, Philip Carter, who hands over the original silver trophy to Kevin Ratcliffe, who parades it to 44,000 joyous fans, many, many more thousands around the country who follow the fortunes of the side. Will celebrate tonight as it's passed on to Graham Sharp, who dummies just to toss it down the line to the other.
The greatest prize for winning the championship has always traditionally been entry into the European Cup. That must be the one element of regret that you have at the end of the season.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. I mean, we missed out 2 years ago and we're going to miss out again. I mean, all I can say is that hopefully we can, when the banner's lifted, and hopefully that will happen very, very quickly, that we are champions when that time comes round and we earn our rightful place to have a crack at that European Cup.
And the future, you feel this squad's set up to challenge and win championships again in the future?
Well, you can never take anything for granted, but I think that you'll find that there'll be a determination next season again to do it all over again.
The season in goal, then on crutches, Paul Parr, just 3 days after a knee operation. Peter Pan, what a story.
I feel that the supporters have accepted me and made it so easy for me to settle here, because I always thought it might be difficult for a Mancunian to come and play in a Liverpool side. But the way things have worked out, I mean, they've been absolutely tremendous with me. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to next season and hope that I can keep up the standards that I've sort of set myself this season, you know, and we'll look at it from there. I think now that Ian Rush has gone to Italy, we must start the season as favourites, and you know, quite honestly, I think that's justifiable, and if we play anything like we've done this season, then we'll take the championship again next year. So everybody out there, you know, I mean, just look forward to that.
Keep for years and treasure, no doubt. Kevin Ratcliffe has the championship trophy with those blue and white ribbons.
I don't think if any other club would have sort of kept up with what we've done this year.